The first thing that comes to many people's minds when you look back on swords and sorcery anime from the mid-90s, the poster child without a doubt would be Slayers. The misadventures of Lena Inverse and friends is near and dear to those a part of the cult fanbase, and I'll be back to discuss this franchise later on in the new year. You may also remember OVAs like Bastard or Dragon Half, but for this episode, let's go over the greatest swords and sorcery anime of all time. In the Spooner continent, humanity is often tortured and terrorized by magic users known as sorcerers. They move around with these triangle-shaped gems lodged into their faces, and little is known about their origins. And thus comes our protagonists, Chocolate, Terra, Marin, Gato, and our lead, Carrot Glace. These 5 hunters are called upon by Big Mama and her little fairy secretary Dota to save each day. Bakuretsu Hunters, also known as Sorcerer Hunters or Spell Wars in America, is a Monster of the Week story following 5 main characters with unique and quite redundant abilities, taking down one of these evil sorcerers in some way, shape, and form each episode. I know upon hearing this, the first thing that comes to your mind is, yeah, and? This is nothing out of the ordinary for anime, especially if you're into these 90s cheesy style shows. But the value for Bakuretsu Hunters lies in its other elements, which I'll get to later on. The show has a lot of different elements packed tight through the series, and they execute them through the protagonist. You have a bit of mystery and edginess in Carrot's younger brother Marin, you have your alpha laid-back smooth character, you have the lady-obsessed pervy main character, and you have your 2 alpha female characters. Within this cast is a slight dynamic of harem, as these 2 sisters constantly fight over and vie for the attention of Carrot, as he could care less about them. What's interesting is that Carrot is the total opposite of what a harem male protagonist usually is. These dudes usually are simpleton virgins who are totally naive to women, and in a lot of ways borderline act like they got a distaste for women. But the difference here is Carrot actually loves women, just not these 2. You'll have to tune into the show to truly understand what I mean. Anyways, back on topic. You're probably wondering what this show has to offer story-wise. There actually is a subtle plot lurking between these episodic stories, and climaxes towards the last handful of episodes. What I will say is, you got a guy trying to be the god of the world that they live in, and trying to revive some god of destruction lying in one of the characters. Nothing we haven't seen before. And yeah, they have a big showdown for the last few eps. The driving force that pushed me to rewatch and do a review for Sorcerer Hunters is 1000% the artwork, art style, and animation. For the standard of the time it came out, these are some of the most beautiful settings and character designs I have ever seen in anime. The Spooner continent is just a phenomenal world. So many memorable places from episodes, and I almost was torn for days capturing footage for the video. I really recommend you guys watch it simply for that. The music is just incredible, very catchy, and got memorable soundtracks that play throughout the series and are ingrained into your mind. An amazing opening and closing sequence, aesthetically and melodically, this is a perfect 10. Sorcerer Hunters isn't a perfect anime, but it does have enough elements that allow for it to be a great watch. From its characters to its direction, art, and music, this is definitely a hidden gem if you're into retro anime. Originally a 6-volume light novel from 93 to 96 written by Satoru Akahori, and a manga running 13 volumes from 93 to 98. The adapted animation aired in 1995, produced by Studio Zabek. 26-episode run, game, set, match. That about clears this episode. Holla at me in the comments if you've seen this and what you thought about, and if you're willing to check it out. If you're interested in checking out more recommendations of Anime Back When, don't be afraid to ask. Like the video, comment down below what y'all want to see next. I'm out. Thanks for watching Anime Back When.